Another week in security at the PC Security channel. Avast acquires AVG, Intel is considering selling McAfee, and Pokemon Go is awesome but scary. This is Leo, and you are watching Security Talk. Let's start with the big news. So Avast from Czechoslovakia is going to acquire AVG for a whopping $1.3 billion. Now this has come as a total surprise to me. I hadn't foreseen this. And considering that both Avast and AVG are massive free AV companies and they're kind of competitors in the industry, I'm not sure what this is going to mean. Is it going to result in a single product using both Avast and AVG engines? That is what I sincerely hope is going to happen, but I don't know if that is going to happen. Now, it could just be that this is a financial move and AVG will continue to function as a different unit. But for the betterment of security, I would hope that Avast would just integrate the technology that they're going to acquire and produce better products. This is big news though, and we could see some interesting products in the future resulting from this decision. I'm not really a big stock guy, but as it says over here, they paid $25 per share. And this is going to help Avast reach more markets, especially in the United States. And that is where the biggest market is for AV companies right now, I guess. They have a lot of details in this article. If you want to go through it all, you can do that. I will include the links as I always do. So, next topic. Intel is considering selling McAfee. Now, this is something that I did expect to see sometime because McAfee has just not been doing well. Now, they decided to do a full rebranding of it, called it Intel Security, and in all honesty, the product has improved over the years, but ever since like 2010, they haven't been able to catch up with the rest of the industry. And even with the improvements that Intel brought to the dying McAfee franchise, it has still struggled to regain any meaningful market share. And the only sale tactic that seems to have worked is bundling their products with, laptops and computers, almost in a PUP fashion. And in the long term, that is not going to yield good results for the company. So Intel just wants to sell it off. I'm doubtful whether anybody will be interested in picking it up at this point, but, probably been a big deal for Intel because they acquired it for like $7.6 billion, and they thought they should get their feet wet in security because IoT was beginning to become a huge field. But those of you who have been following know that it didn't work out too well, so now they're considering to sell it off. Now let's get to something that is more interesting for the consumers like us and has more immediate impact. So Pokemon Go, first of all, I would love to try this game out. It's pretty interesting. I like the concept of augmented reality in apps, and I think in the future we're going to see a lot of games like this. So I like the concept, although I don't like how it has been implemented. Now this reminds us yet again that you should always check your app privileges and not just click on the agree button whenever you install a new app. So Google usually tells you pretty clearly what the app is going to have access to. Unfortunately, most people don't read it. So what has happened with Pokemon Go is that when people register or create their accounts to play this game, what they don't realize is that they also give away access to basically everything in their Google account. And that is crazy because you have your photos in Google, you have emails. So once you sign up with this app, you give it the ability to send and read emails, access and delete documents, things in your Google Drive, your photos. So this cannot be good. It has so much potential for disaster. I don't know how such a popular app failed to go through this basic quality assurance or QA, but it has happened. So those of you who are using Pokemon Go, having a great time, it is bad news for you. I would strongly advise that you stay away from this app for the time being, that they do not produce an update which is going to eventually allow you to give it specific access and not just hand over your entire Google account. In fact, Pokemon Go hasn't really released all over the world. Maybe that's why they didn't really have time to pay attention to detail, but this is a security nightmare. You do not want your entire Google account to be accessed by your Pokemons. I know they're cute, but they can be mean if they want to. Alright, so as if that wasn't bad enough for Pokemon Go, it turns out there are a lot of backdoors that are going to be coming out with similar names. So watch out if you're still excited about Pokemon Go. Just make sure you get the real one, because the real one has full access to your Google account, but a fake one is only going to be worse. Kaspersky have reported that there are several imposters of Pokemon Go that install a backdoor on your device, so watch out for those. A lot of people in other countries where Pokemon Go has not been released are going ahead and downloading the file APK from somewhere and installing it on their phones. I'm not saying that that is necessarily a bad thing, but watch out. If you get the wrong APK, it could be a malicious app, so make sure you use the official website. Alright, enough of Pokemons and acquisitions. Let's get back to some of the good old stuff. Ransomware from hell, Satana, how appropriate. So this is another Kaspersky Lab post, and in this they have covered a new type of ransomware which doesn't just lock up your screen and demand payment. It actually corrupts your master boot record, rendering your computer unbootable. So this is a new kind of threat and pretty cool screenshot. This is quite similar to the Petya ransomware. I don't know how to say it. These are Russian words, I guess. Once Satana is on your system, it scans all your drives and network drives and everything you have for, the following file extensions. We've got doc in there, JPEG, text, pretty much everything, and just encrypts them. But it doesn't just, lock your screen or something, then it ruins your MBR, so a bit worse than your everyday ransomware. But what's worse than ransomware these days? PUPs. So here's another post about potentially unwanted programs by Malwarebytes. In fact, in this one they have covered Oneclick PUPs, or the Oneclick downloaders, and why they flagged them. This is a really nice article for those of you who want to understand how antivirus companies draw the line between malicious and safe programs or downloaders. They've given examples of various well-known PUPs that just end up downloading a ton of stuff. So when you try to, let's say, install a popular application, you might end up getting one of these downloaders and you'll see a screen like this, and what it's going to do is, instead of just giving you the application that you want, it ends up as a chain reaction. It installs something else, and that installs something else, and that downloads something else, and so on. And it's pretty much an infinite process, bundling your computer with a ton of junk. I think most of you are quite familiar with this, so I'll just skip through this article, but it's interesting, so check it out. Here we have another Malwarebytes article. This is about fake claims online that lead to identity theft or hackers taking over your account. So in this case, somebody offered PlayStation games for free, If you just give them your Instagram account or something, all that happens after you do that is you get ads on your Instagram account and all sorts of unwanted surveys from which I guess they can make more money. So whenever you see any kind of pop-up like this, or you see any website that claims that, hey, you can grab this game for free, or some payware application for free, it is probably not going to give you that. Now, I know this is very common and we see this on so many websites. They promise you some payware application and ask you to complete a survey before you can actually download the file. Now, most of those are just traps. So you're never going to get any free application. You're just going to end up doing surveys which will earn them money and waste your time and probably result in a lot of spam in your email. So just watch out for those websites and don't fall for that, survey thing. It's usually just a scam. These are all the security articles that we'll be talking about today, but I did want to mention something else. So recently we've had a couple of incidents where Tesla's self-driving vehicles have been part of accidents, and one of them has been fatal. So there's a huge outrage over this in media, in a lot of websites, and people are freaking out about self-driving cars. And I would just like to add a few of my views onto that. So first of all, it is important to understand that autopilot in Tesla, or in most electric cars these days, is not really the same kind of autopilot as you see in, let's say, the Boeing 747 or airplanes. In airplanes, when you use autopilot, it is basically you set down the coordinates and you provide some basic guidance and you just leave it alone and the plane flies itself in that direction, maintaining altitude and whatnot. But in the case of cars, it's actually quite different, and if you're using a Tesla electric vehicle on autopilot, you still need to be active. So it's not the same thing as the car driving itself. So it is more like a driving assist rather than an autopilot, which I guess was not the best word to use on Tesla's behalf. Logan and Wendell at Tech Syndicate have talked about this in their latest tech video, so if you're interested, you can check that out. But I would just like to add that it is important to understand that accidents are still going to happen. Self-driving cars aren't exactly accident-proof. And even if, let's say, the technology does get better and we don't see, like in this case, what happened was there was a T-bone collision, which is really odd, and you don't see those accidents every day, which is probably why, it happened with an automated vehicle. But even when we have very high standards of automation and we're able to make cars that can pretty much do everything themselves, there will still be accidents. There are still accidents with machinery, with automation. There'll always be that one case somewhere. So it's important to remember that and see things in perspective. Driving on the road is incredibly dangerous. People make mistakes like crazy. There are drunk drivers, there are people who are just in a bad mood, who want to go road rage, then there are guys who are using their cell phones, not paying attention to the road, and automated vehicles is a solution to that. And it's a very elegant solution, and it has been very successful. These statistics speak highly in favor of the automated vehicles versus human drivers. Does that mean that automated vehicles cannot have accidents? No. That's not what it means. There might still be an accident somewhere. But the number is going to drop. So let's not get paranoid about a single incident, and let's look at the bigger picture here. Now, people have been taking this up from different perspectives. Now, this article talks about it in terms of ethics, saying that the people who died in this particular crash, or the person who died in this particular crash, or the people who are going to die as a result of problems in automated vehicle may not be the same people who died due to bad driving, and there's a more ethical point of view, but I'm not sure that I exactly follow that. So this is an interesting issue, and I'd like to know your thoughts on that, because we do have a kind of paranoia for control. Some of us are just control freaks. People feel more scared of dying in an airplane than they do of dying on the road, although statistics show that you're probably more likely to die on the road. That's probably because you have control on the road. You have your hands on the wheel. And that gives you a sense of comfort, although you're just as likely to make a mistake as the pilot in an airplane. Here it's you versus another person controlling your vehicles. So maybe that is what causes people to freak out about automation. That is going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video of Security Talk. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I really want to find out how many of you actually find these videos interesting. If I do get a good feedback on this video, we might turn Security Talk into kind of a weekly episode, do it more often, have more live streams, things like that. But I need your help, guys. So give this video a like, and please consider supporting me on Patreon if you enjoy the content of this channel, because TPSC is really my main job at this point. If I get a really good response, I might consider doing more segments like this, or segments where I just talk about developments in security products, because so much happens in the AV industry. It's not possible to talk about everything in a review. Like, a lot of you have been asking me about Avast's new cyber capture feature and when I'm going to test it. And then, there are all these add-ons and things to talk about, various products, including new features, new updates, new versions. Maybe we'll cover more of that in the future. Until then, I hope you have a great week. Make sure you're subscribed to the PC Security channel. And as always, stay informed, stay secure.